the Beatles,
Yeah.
Leonard Cohen, you can put everybody there.
Sure.
And my recollection of a story that I want to tell.
Tell your story.
You and I were in Los Angeles, and we were coming back from being in the studio, or we were coming back from John Shank's place, and you had gotten a message that from the producer, the guy was producing the last true Beach Boys album. This was everyone. Wasn't the factions fighting, but they were doing the last record. And they were having trouble finishing a song called Summer's Gone. Now, my recollection is we were supposed to go back to our hotel because there was something going on. You were meeting someone. And you were like, and I was like, please do this. It's important. And we went to that studio, and if you remember, they had a giant console, like 96 inputs. Every fader was up. Like, we walked in, and I'm like, what can possibly be on this? And you heard the song. We came back. You got back to New Jersey. You finished writing that song. So now you're writing a song with Brian Wilson. And we demoed it right here in this room where we are now. And I just recently mixed that, which is something probably you haven't heard for 100 years either.
Yeah. My recollection is just a little more detailed. So we were, in fact, in Los Angeles. We had worked with a guy named Joe Thomas who had filmed and done a CMT or something program with us with Sugarland. That thing where we played each other's songs, and he was great. He was fantastic. Now, he was producing the last Beach Boys record. So you and I were talking at the Four Seasons Hotel, and you said, boy, I would love to mix one of those songs. And I said, I know the guy that's producing this record. And we called him, and you had said, I would do it for free. And so I said to this Joe Thomas, can we come down? Obie wants to come down, and he'd love to mix something. And we went down, and he had all those faders, like you said, in this huge console. And they put up this track, and I said, man, it sounds amazing, and all these background vocals, and Brian doing his thing. And I said, well, where's the lyric? And he goes, therein lies the problem. And I said, oh, you don't have a lyric. So when we walked out, we were talking, and he said, you want to take a shot at it? And I said, yeah, I'd be interested in taking a shot. But then, of course, you leave there and you're thinking, should I do this? How can I do this? How do you know? And so I wrote a lot of verses to be able to submit them with the hope that we'd get it right. Ultimately, you're right. I have a co-write with Brian Wilson and Joe Thomas. And, it's an honor, obviously. I didn't get to go back in the studio with Brian. I just submitted the lyrics, and they did it. And then, of course, I held my breath hoping that they would like them, and they used them. So one of the things that you mixed is one of the versions, because the lyrics, there were so many verses. This was like an alternate.
Yeah.
It's like what you sent me here is an alternate take with the first iteration of all the lyrics. But yeah, it was pretty cool to write Summer's Gone with Brian Wilson and Joe Thomas.
You have a good life.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop the conversation right here.